And Sherlock Jr., the director, Buster Keaton, writes and stars in his own film. Keaton plays an unnamed young man who works as a cinema projectionist, spending his days dreaming of becoming a famous detective. He's in love with the girl, played by Catherine McGuire, who comes from a wealthy family. He buys a gift for the girl and presents it to her along with a ring. Meanwhile, another potential suitor, a local thief played by Ward Crane, steals a watch from the girl's house, pawns it, and attempts to win over the girl with a more expensive gift. The deceitful conman wants nothing more than to marry into money and spend the rest of his days living a life of luxury. When the girl's father learns that his watch is missing, he confronts the local thief, who immediately realizes his situation and plants the pawn shop receipt in the suit of the projectionist. In an attempt to use his detective skills, Buster Keaton's character accidentally indicts himself when reaching into his pocket and discovering the receipt. The projectionist is then reprimanded by the father and forbidden from seeing the girl again. He makes his way back to the theater where he falls asleep and dreams of stepping into a movie screen, becoming a masterful detective who is tasked with finding the culprit behind a jewelry heist. The characters in the fantasized movie are people from the projectionist's life, with the con man playing the villain and the main character being himself, the famous Sherlock Jr. He manages to solve the crime and save the girl in this contained narrative before waking up back in the projector booth. In the dream, the boy solves the case and escapes with the girl, yet in reality, it is she who unearths the truth and returns to apologize. The film is incredibly innovative, using pioneering cinematic techniques that would still evoke a sense of spectacle even within modern cinema. Keaton understood that cinema held a profound influence over both our dreams and desires, and crafted a film that perfectly captures the essence of that power, while simultaneously rejoicing in the tricks and techniques that are unique to his films. While the story is not considered an especially well-crafted narrative, each sequence has its own clever idea, which Keaton choreographed and timed perfectly to create an easy-to-follow, uncluttered scene.
Moving on to some specific scenes, Keaton himself says he made all of Sherlock Jr. just to capture film within film. The sequence is a stunning combination of theatrical and cinematic tricks involving lighting, double exposure, and mats. While audiences found it amusing, other filmmakers at the time were in awe of the technical complexity of this simple-looking scene. The dream begins with a double exposure that separates Dream Keaton from his sleeping counterpart. As the Hearts and Pearls movie begins on screen, the characters transform via simple fading effects from the projected movie's actors into the people the dreamer knows in real life. This fading allows Buster to jump from the orchestra pit into the film and be thrown onto the stage and back into the audience. Keaton, the director, used simple cuts to the background as the stage set is replaced by a piece of film showing the front door of a mansion. Keaton's cameraman, Elgin Leslie, first filmed the theater set, then rewound the camera to the beginning of the scene and filmed on location to shoot the beginning of the film within a film. Leslie inverted the process, removing the black tape from the area inside the movie screen and blacking out the theater section. Surveyor instruments were used to precisely match his position on screen as his character jumps from one dangerous environment to another until he finally pops up in a garden and the movie fades out. Keaton's predicament is emphasized by his reactions, all of which are believable, not to mention funny. Keaton expertly manipulates the sense of reality using clever editing and staging. This scene epitomizes the film's exploration of cinema and reality. Shot from long distance, including the audience on the stage, this frame gives the impression the viewer is in the theater watching the events unfold. In this next scene, Buster shows off his skills at the pool table without the help of special effects. He created many of these shots by practicing with one powder ball at a time. The powder on the balls will leave a path on the pool table felt. With these powdered balls, he practiced to the point where he could hit the most difficult shots for an entire game. This scene really shows us why many called Keaton a perfectionist. In this second scene, Buster appears to jump to the body of his assistant. The trick was accomplished with a trapdoor behind the suitcase and an actress lying horizontally above the suitcase with long clothes, giving the illusion of a torso. With the actress up on the platform, the suitcase and dress concealed a small trapdoor in the fence. Her head and shoulders remained in place, with the dress sloped back, hanging down to cover the trapdoor as Buster dove straight through. The platform and the actress in the dress then dropped down and allowed the actress to smoothly fall forward and walk as though she had always been standing vertically. Keaton later admitted that the crew had spent an awful lot of time getting those scenes. In this last scene, we follow Keaton with a tracking shot as he runs next to his assistant on a bike. Sherlock, who is anxious to escape his pursuers, jumps on the front handlebars of the bike. Unfortunately, early in the chase, their plan hits a literal and metaphorical bump. A shallow ditch in the road throws Sherlock's assistant off the bike. This leaves Sherlock unknowingly as the bike's only occupant, and also shows Keaton's crazy ability to ride a motorcycle from the handlebars. The scene shifts from tracking shots, keeping a close watch on Keaton, to quick still shots that watch as he zooms by. Keaton uses both as he zips between cars, knocks over a few women, and even wins a tug-of-war. At the end of it, Buster manages to hit both cameras, knock down the scene director, and collide with the car.
Moving on to some cultural themes, this film used cutting-edge effects that received mixed reviews, as critics and audiences alike have never seen anything like it. Modern-day film scholars liken the story and effects to Christopher Nolan's Inception for its intricate concepts and groundbreaking execution. Keaton's influence on modern film can be seen in Jackie Chan's Rush Hour. The infight, played here, is undeniably Keaton-esque. In 1995, Chan told the New York Times, "I wanted to be like Chaplin, or Keaton, but all the martial arts directors I worked with wanted me to copy Bruce Lee." At the time of its release in 1924, Sherlock Jr. was a box office disappointment. In terms of revenue, the film earned just $450,000 at the box office, coming in dead last out of the 12 films Keaton starred in between 1923 and 1929. Unfortunately, film distribution issues outstripped the appeal of Keaton's genius trickery and illusions. Sherlock Jr. is also considered to be one of the first examples of American surrealism, particularly in scenes with quick cuts and deferring backgrounds. It's fair to say Keaton was not a self-conscious surrealist, rather a professional entertainer. Keaton's great stone face and expressive physique defined his work. He was famous for being inexpressive, but at the same time deep. You can see it on his blank, mesmerizing face. He manages, in some miraculous way, to possess this quiet, enduring sadness, while at the same time being able to make us laugh and keeping us drawn to the screen. Critics' reviews of Sherlock were very mixed. Some media outlets praised the film, while others bashed it, calling it as funny as a hospital operating room. Modern film critics and fans see Sherlock Jr. in a more positive light. In 1991, Sherlock Jr. was named to the National Film Registry. In 2000, it was 62nd on American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Laughs list. And in 2005, Time magazine placed it among the top 100 films of all times. Although it wasn't a success during Keaton's lifetime, Sherlock Jr. has since become a cinematic treasure.